Hey everyone, it's Kabir. In today's session, we are going to see about a new concept called setState. In last session, we have understood what is state, how to create a state, and how can we access the data from a state and can display in the component. Today, we are going to perform some operations on state. So let us see how can we do. So when we comes to a last time project, we have created a card where we have displayed the details of a person. So let us see how it's going to look. npm start to execute the last session task. So let's see what we are able to see in the browser. Yep. So this is the thing what we are able to see it, right? So we have created one card. In that card, we have printed some data, and this data is coming from the state. Now my requirement is I wanted to create a button. So whenever I'm going to click on that button, the name should change from Kabir to some name, like some other name, right? It might be Sagi or some other name. So let us see how can we do some operations on the state. So let's go to VS Code. Now once we come to the VS Code, so let's go to our component what we have created, that is state component.js. Here I have did some changes, like I have created a table, and in that table I have created one row, like this one row. In that row I am keeping the data just for the systematic way. That should look little bit better. Okay, so nothing much here. So we have created a state, right? In this state, we are representing four kind of properties like name, email, phone number, and the location. Now my requirement is I will be creating a button. Whenever I'm going to click on that button, my particular location or name. So let us consider a location. Location should change from Mumbai to Pune. Okay, so let us try. So for that, first of all, we have to create a button, right? So I will be creating a button in separate row. Yeah, so I will be taking a simple tr. Okay, inside I'm going to take some td. Okay, cool. Now here I will be taking a button, and I will be giving some name like change the location, something, right? So just I'm going to save it, and just let's go and see how it looks like. Okay, I have a button, change the location, something. So if I wanted to give some color to this button, for that I have an attribute called style. Okay, we have to take a style. Now this is a property which will be in the key name value pair. So name is a style because this is given by the like your css people or react people. So for that they have mentioned the name like a style, so we have to take a style equals to, and it is going to take one object. In that object, okay, it is going to take an object because we can define multiple properties. So if we want to define multiple properties, then we have to go with the object, and the outside curly braces are the notations. This is how we have to represent the css inside your JSX syntax. Okay, now here I wanted to take the background color of button, something like background. Okay, background color of the button, something like blue. Okay, I'm going to take blue, and semicolon is to just end your property. Okay, apart from that, just save it. Just go to the browser. Yes, you are able to see it, and instead of blue, can take something else color which will be look better. So something like blue, black, and yeah, this will be better, right? Change the location, and text color we can take something like, how can we differentiate a properties, comma, and I want to take the color to be something like, let's take a white. and why it should be in your double quotes. That's fine, just save it. Yeah, but it's not so good, right? So let's take some different color like red. So we should have a proper, yeah, red is cool, right? So we have one button. So my requirement is whenever I'm going to click on this button, my location should change from Mumbai to Pune. So for that, we know one thing, how can we update our object, right? So for that, I am writing one function. So how can we write a function on click, right? So just go here, just tell on click. And you have to remember, like whenever you are writing a function event inside your JSX, here it is going to follow your camel case, means your first word, first letter will be the small, like it will be the small, and from second word its first letter should be a capital, right? So in normal JavaScript it's a on click, which all are in your small letters, but here C is a capital, you have to remember. Now I have wrote a event. From here I need to call something. So how can we, so I want to call some function. So I need to define the function, but before defining the function, I want to give some name. So how can we, in React, whenever you are like, we will be studying about the events in further sessions. As of now, you have to remember, we cannot call a function from here how we are calling in the JavaScript. Here just we have to mention the name of the function. Your React will call it internally, that function. So how can we take that? Just take a curly braces. Okay, fine. Now here I want to perform, like click is a function name I want to use. So how can we represent a function or attribute in a class? First this dot, I'm taking a click. So I'm giving just the name of that function. Now I have to define that particular function. So I will be defining that particular function somewhere like after your constructor. Now this is your constructor, right? Here I will be defining like click, this is the function, or yeah, click equals to arrow function. Now if I want to update any object, so how can I update? So just I have to, like, how can I update a property in an object? First of all, I have to take that object name, this dot state, this is the object name dot, which property you want to update, like location equals to Mumbai, sorry, from here to Pune. So I have wrote something like this dot state dot loc equals to Pune. Now I'm going to print this particular what do we say, particular object. Let's see whether it's updates or not. So I'm going to write something like console, not here, because after function execution I need, right? So for that purpose, what I'm doing, like, just to check, I'm taking one more button. Okay, now I'm creating this button outside your table, means outside your div. Okay, and here I want to give the name as dummy click or something, dummy dummy, right? And just I will be writing click to check state. Just I'm giving a dummy button. Okay, fine. Now I have to define this particular dummy function as well. Okay, in this dummy function we are going to just print the state, that's it. Apart from that, nothing we are going to do. So I'm writing like dummy, and here, okay, dummy equals to arrow function. Yeah, done. Now here we want to print, so how can we print console dot log, and I'm printing a state, right? It should be this dot state, done. Now, but we have to see before also now. So whenever a function is going to load, here I'm writing one more console dot log, and it would be this dot state. So whenever the component is going to load, first method it will trigger a constructor. So whenever it is going to trigger a constructor at that particular time, what would be our state we are going to see? Means like what data in is our state. Now once I have clicked the button, then I'm going to click one more button. Then let's see what will be the state, whether it is changing, it's what happens. Let us just observe and understand it, right? Now I hope you understood the code. So I'm explaining the code. Already we have prepared card and everything. So what I did, I took one row. In that particular row, I took a one button, and that button is nothing but this particular button. Okay. Now this is your button. Cool. Now my requirement is whenever I'm going to click on this button, it should change the value from Mumbai to the Pune, right? That's my requirement. And I took this button to check the state. Okay, after clicking on this button, are we able to change the state or not? As a traditionally we know how to change the object value, right? How can we change the object name dot existing property key equals to, we have to give the value, it will override. This is what we have learned in the JSON session. Okay, now let us see, and just I'm going to execute this once again. Okay, just delete. Okay, cool. npm start open. Yeah, we got the application. Now when I clicked on this button, are we able to see any changes here? No, but let's go to our inspect. Just go to your console, just remove everything, right? Now let's refresh it, right? Now just remove everything. Now whenever I'm going to click, right, it's nothing, we are able to see nothing. When I'm going to click on the check state, yes, now we are able to see the object. Now the object is changed. Yeah, email is Kabir, location has changed from your Mumbai to Pune. So let us see once again. So just refresh it. Whenever you are going to refresh, you are going to get some warnings that I will be telling you why we are getting. Just don't concentrate on the warning. As of now, you have to remember our state location is Mumbai. Okay. Now when I click on the change location, whenever I click, this particular method is going to trigger. Which method? Click method, right? Once it is triggered, we wrote some functionality like we are updating the location in a state object to Pune, from Mumbai to Pune. So this state is there, right? So we are updating from Mumbai to Pune for the location. But we are not able to see anything on your particular browser. It is not rendered. The value is Mumbai. So let's check what is the state. I have clicked it. Once you click on this, just go down. Now if you see here, your location is Pune, means state is updating, but it is not rendering in the browser. That's the thing we are able to find the issue. That is because React gave us a particular way to update a state. They gave us some guidelines. They told us if you want to update a state, you should not go with the traditional method. I'm going to give you one way. You have to follow that way to update your state so that it will be rendering on your browser. So what is that way? They told whenever you wanted to update a state, you have to call a method called setState. Okay, you have to call a method called setState. Okay, I'm going to call a method setState. It's a method, so we have to call. I called a setState. Now they told in this setState is going to take one parameter as an object, and that object is nothing but your state. They told us we are going to give you one method known as setState. So you have to call this method whenever you wanted to update your state. Now our requirement is to update state, so we have called setState. They told us this setState is going to take one parameter, and that parameter is nothing but your state. Means your state is object, so this object is nothing but your state. Now if you want to update somewhere, you have to write here the logic. Now I want to update location. Okay, I'm going to say it's to Pune, right? Now whenever you are going to call, just save it. Now just go to your browser, refresh, right? So whenever your application is going to execute, the location would be something like, location would be Mumbai. Yes, location is Mumbai. Now I'm going to click on this button, change the location. It has changed, updated to your Pune. Right, now it is able to render. Now once you click on this, click check state. Now just go down and see your location is nothing but it's a Pune. So this is what happens. So internally what is happening, you know, whenever you are going to call setState method, it is going to first update your state. Okay, once it updates your state, again it is going to call your render method. So whenever the render method is called, your component is going to render in the browser. That's why we are able to change the state. In the first scenario, why we are not able to see is whenever we are updating the state explicitly, we are just updating the state. State is updated. We saw in the console, the location is changing from Mumbai to Pune, but your particular render method is not able to call. You are not able to call the render method. So that's why your DOM is not able to change it. So if you want to update the state as well as if you want to call the render, instead of doing two steps, just one step, that is setState, automatically it is going to update your state and it is going to call your render method. So that's it for this session. Thank you.